prosperity to meet the needs inside and outside of their circles. Number 3, daily numerical growth. Number 4, ongoing and expanding favor with outsiders. And number 5, signs and wonders, what we call here divine downloads. It was definitely a different kind of church, or it looked different. It was always people, never buildings. It was vibrant, expansive, operating 24/7, unstoppable capacity for growth. It set the agenda rather than being an item on somebody else's agenda. So the question is, why such low performance and little social relevance today? Could it be that we have confined to 4 walls once a week what is meant to operate 24/7 all over the city in the marketplace? You see, the other side of the church is the kingdom of God. They go together. And when Jesus launched the church, he described the kingdom as leaven, light, water, salt. Leaven in a jar doesn't do what it's supposed to do. Light that is blocked creates darkness. Water that doesn't run becomes putrid. Salt in a shaker doesn't do any good to the meal. So we need to take this into society. Is there something that we have not tapped into yet? And if so, what is it? I mean, when Jesus introduced the ecclesia, his intention all along was to co-opt an existing secular institution and impregnate it with his kingdom DNA. Let me explain this by taking you back to the genesis of the ecclesia. There were 3 main institutions in Israel during New Testament days. Number 1, the temple. Number 2, the synagogue. Number 3, the church, the ecclesia, the word translated church in our Bibles. The temple was a religious place where people met with representative of God, the priest. The synagogue was another religious place where God's people met with each other. But the ecclesia secular, was a Roman institution where it was an assembly of people deputized by the emperor to introduce and implement the laws of the empire. And the function of that ecclesia was to teach the language and the culture of Rome until everything and everyone walked, talked, and acted like Rome. Very interestingly, Jesus didn't say, I will build my temple or I will build my synagogue, but he said, I will build my ecclesia. Basically, what he was implying, there already exists an ecclesia, a secular one, which is governed by evil forces. They are called the gates of Hades. But I am releasing a new ecclesia, a group of people, because ecclesia means an assembly of people. And when these two meet, mine will win. Therefore, when the disciples heard the word ecclesia, they didn't need much explanation because the frame of reference was a secular entity already in existence in the marketplace, except that this new ecclesia was going to be Jesus' ecclesia. Pay attention to this. He co-opted a major institution that was operating in the marketplace with imperial authority and infused it with God's kingdom DNA. Number two, he went beyond that. He also co-opted the conventus civium Romanorum, the correct word. And that meant that when Roman citizens met anywhere, the power and the authority of the emperor was with them. Isn't that what Jesus said about his church? When 2 or 3 of you get together, I am there in your midst. But it goes beyond that. He also co-opted the term apostle. Today is a religious term. But in Jesus' day, it described the admiral in charge of a fleet loaded with building materials and all kinds of people with building expertise, carpenters, plumbers, engineers, architects, that they were sent out to build in a new territory a city that looked like Rome. So my friends, reflect on this. He co-opted the ecclesia, he co-opted the conventus, and he co-opted the office of apostle. And that's why when you are commissioned as a minister in the marketplace, you are one of those ships taking building material to establish the kingdom of God in new territory. In the Bible, the ecclesia was a building-less, mobile people movement designed to operate 24/7 in the marketplace to impact everybody and also everything. By selecting the ecclesia model over the temple or the synagogue, Jesus chose an agency better suited to succeed in the marketplace, because his ultimate objective was to see nations discipled by inserting the leaven of his kingdom into their social fiber through the ecclesia, which is people. Now, I want you to read out loud with me this paragraph, because it encapsulates the whole concept. Jesus' ecclesia was not meant to be a sterile, sanitized holding pen